What happens when you meet someone who makes your heart race? Not because of your workout, but because of them. The moment your body feels the heat of the workout, but it's not the burn from cycling. It's something else. Something that has you second-guessing every move. I was just another person at the gym that morning, spinning away on the bike, minding my business, trying to hit my goal. But then, I saw him. And everything changed. I can still hear the faint sound of my bike's wheels spinning, but nothing mattered more than the guy across the room. And suddenly, everything around me faded into the background. His presence was so strong that it made my heart beat faster than the speed I was pushing my legs. I was trying to focus on my workout, but I kept catching myself staring. And that's when it hit me. What if I never speak to him? What if I let this moment slip away? Stick around to find out if I could turn a simple gym crush into something more. Or if it was just another fleeting moment I'd regret. Have you ever had a gym crush? Felt that nervous energy when you spotted someone who caught your eye, but didn't know how to speak up? Ever been too shy to make a move? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. It was just another morning at the gym. I was there, just like everyone else. Focused, determined. The kind of focus where the world around you becomes a blur. The type of focus where the only thing that matters is the rhythm of your pedaling, the distance on the screen, the push of your legs. I was aiming for 20 miles today, and I was doing it. The sweat on my forehead, the burn in my muscles, everything was steady. I didn't need to think about anything else. I was in my zone. Nothing else could break my concentration. Until I saw him. The shift was subtle at first. A slight movement in my peripheral vision. At first, I thought I imagined it. But then, I saw him again, standing across the room by the weights. The man. The one who completely changed the pulse of my heart. My breathing became irregular, and it wasn't because of the workout. It was like I was suddenly hyper-aware of every muscle in my body, of every movement around me. Every time I tried to focus on the screen in front of me, there he was, his presence pulling me in, almost like I was tethered to him. The gym was full of the usual sounds, the hum of the cardio machines, the clanking of weights, the occasional shuffle of feet, but none of that registered. It was as if all those sounds faded, and there was only him, tall, strong, with that smile. I was still pedaling, but now it felt different. Every push of the pedals felt like it was syncing up with something that was happening between us. I could feel his presence without even looking. And I couldn't look away. My heart was racing faster than it should have been. And no, it wasn't because of the cycling. It was him. I tried to play it cool and tried to keep my composure. But it wasn't easy. I knew every detail now. How my hair kept falling into my face, sticking to my sweaty forehead. How I was trying to be smooth, like it was just another day at the gym. But deep down, I couldn't stop thinking about him. He was tall and tanned. The kind of tan that made you think he spent most of his time outdoors, enjoying the sunshine. His muscles were effortlessly strong, like they belonged to someone who didn't even need to try. And then, there was that smile. It wasn't just any smile. It was the kind of smile that made everything feel warmer and lighter. I knew I should keep my eyes on my screen. I knew I needed to stay focused on my ride. But every time I glanced over, I couldn't help it. There he was, effortlessly moving through his workout. I swear, every time our eyes met, it felt like my heart skipped a beat, like it was racing at the speed of my cycling. But I couldn't get distracted. I had my own goals for the day. I was pushing myself, trying to hit that 20-mile mark. I'd done it 100 times before. Why should today be any different? But then, I caught myself stealing another glance. His form, the way he moved, everything about him seemed so effortless, like he didn't even know the effect he was having on me. I tried to pretend I wasn't noticing, but it was impossible. I was in the zone, or at least supposed to be. But now, my heart was racing for all the wrong reasons. I tried to focus on the screen and the miles left to go, but every little distraction felt louder now. My hair kept falling in my face, damp with sweat, sticking to my forehead. It wasn't even the bike's heat. It was the heat from him, pulling me in, making everything more complicated than it should have been. I reached up to brush my hair back, trying to keep my composure, but my hands, they were shaking. I could feel the heat of my embarrassment as I fumbled with the tie. And that was the moment. That exact moment when I looked up, and there he was, his eyes still on me. I pretended I didn't notice, wiped my face with my sleeve, anything to act like this wasn't affecting me. But how could I? He was looking. And I'm sure it wasn't just a passing glance. Whenever he lifted a weight, I felt like I was pushing harder on the bike. Like I needed to match his energy and prove I could keep up. He'd pick up a dumbbell, and I'd pedal faster like I was syncing myself to his rhythm. But deep down, I knew it was more than just the workout. It was something else. I could feel the tension, the connection growing, and with each glance, it was like the distance between us shrank. And the question lingered, would I ever actually speak to him? Or would this just be another workout where I left wondering what could have happened? I kept my head down, trying to focus on the screen again, but the truth was, I was terrified. Terrified of what would happen if I did say something. What if I said the wrong thing? What if I made a fool of myself? The tension was unbearable. My legs were burning, but it wasn't from the bike. It was from that look. The connection that seemed to grow every time we made eye contact. I couldn't keep pretending. Every minute I spent trying to act like everything was normal, like I was just another person on a bike, just another face in the gym, it was getting harder and harder to ignore the truth. The truth is that every time I caught myself looking at him, I couldn't just let it slip away. This wasn't something that could stay in my head forever. I had been avoiding it for too long, telling myself, maybe next time, or he probably doesn't even notice me. But deep down, I knew that wasn't it. The way he kept looking back at me and his eyes followed me when I wasn't looking wasn't by chance. This moment was building up like a slow burn that I couldn't put out anymore. I could feel my hands shaking and my heart racing, louder now than the bike's whirring sound. So, I did it. I made my way over to him. I could feel every step in my chest, every second drawing me closer to what felt like the biggest decision of the day, or maybe my whole life up until that point. I had no idea what I would say. I didn't even know how to say it. But it didn't matter. I had to say something. And there I was, standing before him, the sweat on my face feeling like it could be seen from miles away. I could feel my palms sweating and my heart racing in my throat. But I didn't look down. I met his eyes. "Hi," I said. I don't know if I was hoping for something more profound or was just so relieved to have said something. But the moment felt like it froze. My words hung in the air for what felt like an eternity. Then he smiled. He smiled like he'd been waiting for this moment. And in that smile, there was a warmth, a connection that made everything else seem so small. "I was wondering when you'd say something," he said. And just like that, the tension building for what felt like hours, or maybe days, broke. He wasn't just some guy at the gym anymore. This wasn't some random encounter that would fade into nothing. There was something real there. Something that told me this moment wasn't as crazy as I'd thought. Maybe I hadn't imagined it. Maybe there was a chance. I let out a breath I didn't even realize I'd been holding. The relief hit me immediately, like a weight lifting off my chest. The gym, the noise, and everything around us felt like it had disappeared. At that moment, it was just the two of us, and I could feel it. This was the beginning of something. We stood there for a moment, just looking at each other. No need to say anything more. There was this unspoken understanding. The weight that had been pressing down on my chest for what felt like forever suddenly lifted. It was like the air around me had changed. I couldn't believe it, but here we were. I had done it. I had walked up to him, said something, and in return, he smiled. We exchanged numbers. Before I knew it, we were already talking about getting coffee together. Just like that. Something so simple yet so meaningful. My heart was still racing, but now it wasn't from nerves. It was excitement. I couldn't believe this was happening. Just a few moments ago, I questioned whether I'd ever speak up or make a move. But there I was, holding his number in my hand. I didn't know how it happened so fast, but it didn't matter then. All that matters was that it did. I still couldn't shake the feeling. Could this be love at first sight? Or was it just that perfect gym crush finally turning into something real? I didn't have all the answers yet, but for once, I wasn't afraid of finding out. If you've ever had a gym crush or been too shy to speak up, drop a comment below and share your story with me. I want to hear how it went for you. And if you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps. And who knows? Maybe the next time I share a story, you'll be the one who inspires me. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment at the gym where everything just clicks? When you're focused on your workout, but suddenly something, or someone, makes everything feel different. A gym crush, maybe? I won't lie. I was this close to letting that moment slip away, to let it stay just a what if. But I didn't. And I'm so glad I didn't. What about you? Have you ever found yourself too shy to speak up or scared to make the first move? Or maybe you've had that one moment where it all came together, and you just had to go for it? If you have, I want to hear about it. Tell me your stories in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going because I know I'm not the only one who's had a crush that felt bigger than just a passing glance. And if you think someone you know has been in a similar situation or maybe too afraid to approach someone at the gym, don't keep this video to yourself. Share it with them. Who knows, maybe it'll give them the courage to make that move, just like I did. But the story doesn't end here, does it? This was just the beginning. You'll want to hear what happened next. Trust me, you won't believe it. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the next chapter of this crazy, exciting journey. Maybe it'll be about how our first date went, or maybe something even more surprising. But you'll never know unless you stay tuned. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. I'll see you in the next one. Now, you're probably wondering, what happened after that? Was it as good as it seemed in the gym, or did something unexpected happen on that first date? Well, let me tell you, what came next was just as wild as the moment I finally walked up to him. And I'll be honest, I was nervous and unsure of what would happen, but when I tell you it turned into something completely unexpected, you'll understand why I can't wait to share it with you. I promise this isn't just the end of the gym story. It's the beginning of something a little bigger than that. So don't miss it. Next time, I'll be sharing how our first date went, how I went from just a girl with a crush to... Well, you'll see. Trust me, you're going to want to hear all the details. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and prepare for the next chapter. You won't regret it. And hey, you've come this far. Might as well stick around to see how it all unfolds, right? See you soon.